something other I should say it wasn't good. It wasn't favorable for the market. And that's when we started the financial sector cleanup. The second quarter of 2018, Capital Bank and UT Bank were liquidated. GCB took over those assets of those companies, and investors' confidence was affected. That's the last quarter. So the market performance wasn't good, though we recorded a negative 0.29 return at the year-to-date return for 2018. And then 2019, we all saw what happened. The financial sector cleanup actually messed up everything. So negative 12.27 return was recorded. And then 2020, COVID also compounded. And we ended the year around negative 13.63. And this year, God being so good, I think some of the interventions that were put forth by our state agencies and the central government has actually boosted economic activities. Investors' confidence came up, and the financial sector build-up that was also done actually helped people. And people have the money, so the only way to invest is basically to consider some of these instruments. So if it is not born, then basically they will go to the capital markets, and that actually pushed most of the stocks to appreciate in value for 2021. So I think 2021 has been a good year if you compare it to last 4 years.
So on the continent of Africa, maybe it's too early though, but if you look at a casual look at the other markets, Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, how did we fare?
So far, I think we've done better than those countries that you've mentioned. We did 43.66%. That's at the end of the year, 2021. Nigeria did around 6%.
6%. Wow.
Yeah. Then Egypt even recorded negative, and that was negative, though it was very marginal, negative 0.5. Then Kenya did 0.23%. So relatively, we are on top. The market was very good.
What COVID has hit almost all these economies, including ours. What actually is helping us to be in the positive terrain?
I think it has to do with the confidence level of investors and the liquidity of the market itself. Because every investor has the idea of generating some wealth from whatever fund that you've invested. So if you have a stock on a market, is this something that can easily be sold when you need money? Is there opportunity for people to actually buy as much as they want? And these are some of the research that I think our market is working perfectly for us. It is very liquid. Most of the stocks, almost all the financial stocks, did extremely well last year. You can easily sell, you can easily buy as well. So these are some of the things that push the performance of the market to that level that we expected in 2020.
All right, now let's break it down. Let's look at the manufacturing sector. How many equities are there and how did it fare?
Well, we have farm milk, Guinness, breweries. These are the two that I can't just, because they were the visible ones that actually, they were the movers. Farm milk, for instance, started the year at 1 cedi and some pesos, and it ended the year at 4 cedis. So you could see the change.
That is huge.
More than 200% appreciation.
Wow.
Guinness Ghana also started around 1 point something. It ended somewhere 2 point something percent. So it wasn't bad. If you classify them into sectors, I think they all did well. Total, for instance, also appreciated in value by more than 100% appreciation. Gold did the same. So for the energy, you could see that at least the confidence is also there. Then you come to the telecommunication. MCN started around 65%, and it ended at 1. Though that's not what we expected, but then it was also good. At least almost 100% appreciation in value. And for financial stock, GCB, ETI, CAL, Societe Generale, all appreciated in
SIC, ETI.
At least this year it has been a good year. Ben Sawyer Plantation also did extremely well.
Yes, Ben Sawyer, you're right.
It started around 2 cedis at the beginning of the year, and it ended somewhere 6 point something percent.
Wow.
So in all the sectors did
very, very well. Yeah. PBC and CPC.
Well, sometimes the fundamentals of the company also play a role. I think some of these companies encounter some difficulties. Yes, so because normally at the end of every year, the financials of these companies are expected to be sent to Ghana Stock Exchange, and this information are made public to investors. So normally people do a lot of analysis before buying into a stock. They look at your performance for over a year, sometimes 5 years period, to see if indeed you've been doing well. And some of these companies were not actually performing well, and that affected the stock price as well. Because if I do my background check and analyze that, well, this company is not doing well, dividend payments are not forthcoming, I may have different intention of what, using my money to do something else. But I know they'll pick up. At least some of them have started restructuring. I know CPC has started some kind of restructuring.
Okay.
So definitely it will reflect in the value of their stock as well.
Well, some equities delisted this year, last year, sorry.
That was Mechanical Lord. Yes, I think they encountered some difficulties. They were not performing well for some time. And so the board decided to delist from the market. So this is the only company that I know for now. PBC was nearly delisted, but then I think it was held on with the hope of reviving the company so that it will start trading on the market.
Aluwex?
Aluwex, beginning of the year, it started appreciating in value, but along the line, it's also stabilized. I think what's happening is sometimes those who are holding the stocks are not willing to also sell. Yeah, that's one of the most difficult aspects of the whole thing. For Farmlake, for instance, last year it was very difficult to get Farmlake to buy.
So in that case, you who are in the field, what do you do to be able to convince investors who are holding on to?
So you need to offer the person a higher price. That's why the price keep appreciating.
Okay.
Because Farmlake, all-time high price for some Farmlake was around 20 cedis.
20 cedis?
Yeah.
Wow.
And last year it fell to 1 cedi. So imagine buying Farmlake like 15.
Okay.
And the price has fell to 1 cedi.
You wouldn't want to sell it.
Especially if you've not even received any dividends, the company has not been consistently be paying dividends, and you've not also been realizing capital gain. You may end up losing when you are in the rush to sell it. So people were just holding on to the stock. It wasn't easy. People were persuaded, and the price keep rising until they started selling. So if you could remember, last year it went to around 60, almost 65 point something. But as soon as people started selling, the price dropped, and people held on to them again, with the hope that things will normalize. Yeah, so that's the dynamics of the instruments.
So how difficult in that regard for your work as a trader on the market?
So normally you have to do company-specific analysis to convince investors to know what is being quoted on the market is a market value. So sometimes you do fundamental analysis to determine the intrinsic value as well.
Okay.
Based on the financial performance of the company. So normally you compare the two, then you convince investors that either this stock is undervalued. Based on what I've done, I think the price should be higher than this. So if you buy it, you will stand a chance of getting greater returns in the future. So these are some of the things that we do behind the scene to convince people to do. So every single market price that we see are the prices that are determined by the interplay of demand and supply forces. The actual price, which is the intrinsic value, is done by us by way of using various information to determine the true value of the stock. And interestingly, most of the stocks on our market are undervalued. If you do the analysis, most of them are undervalued.
Why are they undervalued?
Well, because our market is not other active.
Okay.
The turnovers are not that much. Yes, and because this has been determined by interplay of demand and supply forces. So the more people buy, and if indeed you have a situation where there are more sellers as against those buying, and then the sellers will then get opportunity to ask for higher prices, and the price will appreciate. But this is a situation where we are hit here and there by this pandemic and other things. So people don't hold on to this stock for long. Stocks are a long-term instrument. It's not something that you buy today, then in the following month you decide to dispose it of. You have to hold it for some time to see what is happening. But unfortunately, that's not what we witness most of the time. So these are the reasons why the market price do not appreciate, just as regard to the intrinsic value that you normally compete from their books.
Now we've started a new year. Setting out where you are, how do you foresee the market 2022?
Well, I think we are in for a good year as well. Barring anything, I think the COVID, the Omicron or whatever, it is now under control. So there won't be any lockdown. Well, and also, I think the general thing has to do with the confidence level in the economy. What are things, how are things being managed well in the economy? That's where investors will now determine where to place their money. God being so good, interest rate hasn't risen so much. Those T-bills and fixed deposits are now. So what is left is for us, the brokerage house and Ghana Stock Exchange, to intensify our education for people to see the need. Yes, and per what I've seen for the bid and offer dynamics, well, in the course of the week, we could return to positive return. What happened is just a temporary shock. MTN value traded was very huge, and unfortunately, it declined in value, and that's brought the indicators down. So in this year, I think we are in for good run as well.
We are in for good run. You're talking about education. When you we've been talking about this over and over again. In your view, what else should be done by players like you and the stock market itself to be able to push or to encourage investors within the Ghanaian space to get on board the Ghana Stock Exchange?
We need to intensify our education, like what we are doing. At least those who will be watching will see the need of what investing. Besides, we also do research to actually educate the public with regards to what is happening, the benefits of investing in stocks and other things. Because stock is indeed only instrument that can generate more than 100% return to an investor. You can buy it today 1 CD, it's appreciated to 5 CDs. Look at the quantum of change in value. So we need to intensify our education, and also Ghana Stock Exchange need to also do well by way of making it attractive for companies to list, because that is the easiest way for companies to mobilize long-term funds as well. And the market also gives people opportunity to own stake in companies. That's where it is being done. But I think our side, most often, money market interest rates are very high, and it tends to divert investors' attention from capital market instruments to those fixed incomes and the likes. But once the TB rates are low, investors will not then have no option than to invest in something that will earn them higher returns.
Now, somebody watching me might have said, okay, if say I invest 1 CD and I'll get 5 CDs, to him or her, 4 CD difference is too small. I want you to just let the person know the quantum, the volume, if you purchase some of these stocks, the benefit that you derive. Let's look at it from.
Well, as I indicated earlier on, stock is indeed the only instrument that has generated more than 100% return. So normally, what you buy, the number of shares that you have. Supposing you have 2,000 shares in MTN. Okay. And the MTN price, you buy it like say 50. Today it is 1 CD 70 pesos, 7 pesos. You buy it today 1 CD 7 pesos, and it increased to, let's say, 1 CD 15 pesos. You could see the quantum of change, about 50% rise. So you multiply the closing price, that is 1 CD 15 pesos, by a number of shares that you hold, and that will determine the value of money that you have. So if you take a stock like Stanchart, which is trading around 20 CDs, so if you have 1 million stocks in Stanchart, so 1 million multiplied by 20.
20, yeah.
Yes. That's why we tend to, it is very good. You can buy it today. Next few days or months, you may end up having more than 300% increase. But no instrument will generate such a return for you. So normally, if you don't have time, you have to entrust everything into the care of a fund manager or a brokerage house to constantly monitor the market for you, so that they will give you advice as whether to sell, to buy more, or to hold on to them. And these are the things that investors should actually do.
How the brokerage firms, how easy or difficult is it to reach out to you? Because a lot of people might have money out there, but in their mind it's difficult to perhaps get access. If I live at Bumpurguyoyo in the Northeast region, how do I reach out to a brokerage firm or companies to be able to help me trade on the market, do business?
Interestingly, most of them, so for us, CD for instance, we have an app, though it is in the process of being developed fully, where investor can actually send money through that app, a Momo account. Then the forms can easily be downloaded on the internet. That's a web base that we have developed. So you download the form, you fill, then you send it to us, you send the money, then we will do the trade on your behalf. And whatever happens, an email will be sent to you as well. So it's not a matter of just walking into a particular company to do those investments. Our offices are open. Besides, we've also developed some of these technologies to reach out to customers who are far away from Accra and most of the regional capitals.
Great, James Afo. So you certain that we'll enter into the positive terrain, God willing, by the close of the week?
Yes. By the bid and offer dynamic. If the MTN can even appreciate tomorrow, it has to do with those demand and supply dynamics. So things can easily change. I think the sentiment is okay. The confidence level is not bad at all.
So we're not going to see the bears' presence so strong as we witnessed today?
No.
The bulls are coming.
Bulls are coming.
They are coming.
They are coming.
Fantastic.
So this is a time for people to take advantage and buy.
Okay.
And they are in. Supposing you bought a lot of stocks at the beginning of the year, you could see a lot of money that one could have made. Farm Records opened the year at 1 cedi, but it ended at 4 cedis. About 300% appreciation in the value. MTN also did the same. So this is a time for people to actually buy.
So if you want to advise someone who works in the public sector, maybe the civil servant, public servant, and I want to do investment in the stock market, how much do I need, let's say, every month to put aside to be able to invest? If I earn, let's say the person earns about 1,500, okay, let's say 2,000 Ghana cedis, okay, and I want to be part of this great move on the Ghana Stock Exchange. How much do I have to squeeze and then make sure that I get some returns from there?
For us, you can build a portfolio from scratch as a gradual piece. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to bring like 1,000 Ghana cedis a go. You can start with 100, 200, and then the stocks will be bought for you gradually. Then you'll be building a portfolio. So if you have the bulk amount, fair enough. But if you don't have, you can start with 100, 200, even 50 cedis.
Oh, 50 cedis can do that?
Yeah, we can. There's a possibility of buying a stock for you on the market.
Great. So with 50 cedis, one can start investment on a Ghana Stock Exchange.
Very well.
It's not for the big guys out there.
Not at all.
I don't need 20,000, 50,000 Ghana cedis.
Not at all.
Not at all. Great. Finally, we've seen during the banking sector cleanup a lot of fears of, Ponzi schemes. How certain I am that when I invest on the Ghana Stock Exchange, I'll not be hit with some of these challenges?
Well, Ghana Stock Exchange, as you've indicated, it is a well-known market. It is heavily regulated, and it's just a platform. And for stock, interestingly, it's like you have the instruments I need it to buy, but I can't reach out to you directly. So exchange just acts as a medium of way of what gets into you. So with stock, I deal directly with the one having the instrument and not depositing the money with any particular person. That's one thing about it. So I buy the instrument from you, and now it becomes my own. I hold it, and I can also sell it at any time. So there's nothing like somebody taking your money and not using it for the right purpose. Just at this one, you do it through a broker, because it may be very difficult for me to look at for somebody who has MTN share and want to sell. That's why Stock Exchange has created that avenue. You have instrument you want to sell. Okay, bring it here, give it to a broker. A broker will bring it to the market. Somebody else also has money you want to buy, so the person also routes it through a broker. Then on the market, you will know the one selling, and you can negotiate and what, buy the instrument. So we did directly with both buyers and sellers, just that it has to pass through some medium. So there's no way the money is going to sit with anybody to mismanage it. Not at all.
On the secondary market, the gas, how was it as we wrap up?
It is also doing very well, extremely well. Because the gas has been created to also provide liquidity. So it normally deals with those bills and bonds and notes. These are most of the time long-term instruments, like 10-year bonds, 5 years. So the avenue that has been created is that if you buy a 10-year bond, you don't have to necessarily hold on to the bond after 10 years before you get your money. The gas has been created. The gas, I'm mixing the Ghana fixed income to
the gas.
Yes, okay. So let me finish with it, then I'll come to the gas.
Okay.
So the Ghana fixed income market will give you the opportunity to sell. You don't necessarily have to hold on the instrument then. So it's mature before you get your money. The gas is the Ghana.
It will be done at a discounted rate, isn't it? If I want to sell before.
Yeah, it depends on the tenor.
Okay.
Yeah, and the gas is the alternative market that has been created for SMEs. Sometimes people see the market to be very huge, and they have that perception it is meant for those multinationals and companies that are well known. So the gas has also been created for some of the startup or businesses that are well managed to be listed. For instance, last year we listed a company that is Peswa One.
Peswa One, yeah.
The gas, yeah. So it is for SMEs if you want to raise money at a cheaper source, yes, at a relatively lower cost That's the way to go about it. And they have the structures in place, the guidelines to help every company to raise whatever amount of money that they intend raising from the gas.
Thank you very much, James Afo, for your time in the studio. We've been looking at the Ghana Stock Exchange performance for the year under review, that is 2021. And to him, Ghana fared very well compared with its peers on the African continent. We did 43% year-to-date return. Others were in a negative terrain, that is Egypt in particular. He's still bullish that come even the close of the week, the bearishness that we witnessed in the market today might change for the better. This Market Avenue. My name is Edward Nyakun. God willing, we'll meet tomorrow. Shalom.